Well, Raider Nation, I'm not really surprised at this outcome. The Raiders just didn't. They started bad and they dug themselves a hole early on. That's going to cost you. The big summary of this game was that Arian Foster just went lights, really went crazy on us today. We had tackle troubles, had trouble defending passes, and even on third down, the Houston Texans were converting them on us like crazy. Almost had 50% of third downs converted. Yeah, you're not going to win games if you do that. So, yeah, props to the Houston Texans. Your weapons came through, even though Andre Johnson was out. It didn't matter. We were still blowing coverage left and right in zone coverage. I guess this is why we don't like to play zone very often. They were sucking it at us like crazy. The only positive of this game, Darren McFadden said that he's hurt, but in the game he actually did very well receiving-wise, even though on the ground he didn't do a whole lot. But now that Bush and McFadden will split carries, fantasy owners, you're not going to get to see. I wouldn't have McFadden because now that we split carries, it's not going to happen as much. You average, if you have both backs combined, you got about 4 yards a carry. So it's not a bad running game, but still, it was unfortunate that this team was unable to compete for the whole 60 minutes. It took them the late fourth quarter to finally pull a drive, and Houston was really sitting on it. Not surprised at all by this outcome. The secondary, the whole defense, I don't know what's up with them. They're not playing like up to par. And the other thing, big weakness, the offensive line. And I think we've heard this way too many times, but I got to say it again. They did not protect Bruce Gradkowski at all this game. I don't know how many sacks there were. I think there was like 4 or 5, and there were a bunch of knockdowns. Gradkowski had to be forced to do grounding. Just a lot of bad pass protection by the offensive line. This shouldn't surprise anyone, but we're still allowing those home run plays. There was like a 70-yard run by Arian Foster. Unacceptable. It really is. Sick of these home run plays. We were lucky to be tied at halftime when Neil Reckers missed that field goal. There's just a poor effort by the team. Not, as I said though, I'm not surprised by this outcome. Very much expected, and Houston, it looks like they got back to where they're supposed to be. Even though Andre Johnson was out, they still had other guys step it up, like Kevin Walter and Dresson and Jacoby Jones, I think, was good at the return game. But Arian Foster played in the second half, and he just kind of lit us up in that opening run. Zach Miller was a positive. He had a breakout game today of 122 yards, I think. But still, it doesn't matter. This is a loss, and a loss is a loss, no matter how you look at it. They tried, but you got to play the whole 60 minutes. That third quarter, they torched us, and we deserve this loss. Can't really say much more than that. The offensive line's going to need to show up. But, summary into this game, though, there was a whole team effort. As I said, Tom Cable, your days are going to be limited if the offensive line keeps playing like this. And Mario Williams and company definitely got to this team. Just no protection whatsoever. And, lastly, after guys were dropping the balls here, Lewis Murphy was very quiet this game. I think he dropped that ball near the end. I couldn't actually watch the game physically with my eyes because the game was blacked out, but it was rather bad. I had to hear it by radio, and I can tell that definitely this team wasn't playing to their full potential. So A's fans, if you're an A's fan, tomorrow I got an A's video coming up, but today here, the Raiders lose. We'll see y'all later, and see you next week against the Chargers.